Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Ro Leathers, career coach. Today we're going to be talking about resumes and specifically for those who feel that they have no work experience to put on a resume. And mainly this is going to be for you young adults who are early in your careers or in college or just branching out of high school. So, resumes. What exactly is a resume that causes a lot of young people anxiety? A resume is a document that you present to potential employers or applications for internships that list your qualifications for the position you're applying for. I know it sounds like a lot. There is no right or wrong to do a resume. That's one of the things I say to people, and they're like, "What? What do you mean?" What I mean is the right document is what's going to present your qualifications in the best possible way. But first, we need to make sure that we recognize what a resume is. A resume has a standard expectations of the components and information. If you hand me a piece of paper and tell me it's a resume, but all I see is a list, that is not necessarily a resume. It doesn't tell the reader anything. The basic components of a resume is your experience, education that you have, skills that you've learned in your experiences. Those are the big components of a resume. And I know a lot of you are probably saying, um, I don't have any of that. And I am here to tell you, yes, you do. We are going to take inventory of everything you've done that has helped mold, shape, or guide your interest, your skills, and your talents. And what we're going to be looking at is any work that you've done, whether it's paid or not paid, it's still experience. Any engagements with other people, with committees, with clubs, with your community, with your church, hobbies and interests that you might have that may could be solo activities where you like to build things, or it could be part of a club where you are part of a project. All of that is going to help us create a professional you that you can put on a resume. All right. So I know what you all are thinking at this point, though. I'm happy that you all are very confident, but most of you are probably thinking, I can do anything. I can learn anything. Just teach me. Just tell me what to do. And I'm open to any opportunity. But that is not exactly the best approach when you're applying for a job, whether it's an internship or a regular employment. Most employers want to hire somebody with some kind of skill, with some kind of focus, and with some kind of initiative and curiosity about certain things. And approaching it as a jack of all trades and a master of none is not necessarily the best step. All right, or best approach. Okay, so let's get started here. The first thing that you're going to need to do is take inventory of the activities you've had in your life. For young adults, we can go all the way back to high school. You spent your time doing things. You participated possibly in sports, in clubs, in meetings, debates, whatever that may be. How did you interact with your community, with other people, with adults? So, what are your experiences and what have you accomplished? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? And I know most of you are going, I don't even know if any of this is related to what I want to do. And I'm here to tell you that it does not matter. When employers are looking at young adults for internship programs, they realize that you are not going to have relevant experience for what they do or in the workplace. What they are looking for instead are natural talents and skills, initiative. Are you naturally curious? These are the things that's going to matter to an employer when they're looking at a candidate who does not have relevant experience. All right, so let's look at that again. Hobbies. What interests you? What are your interests? Do you like to build things? Do you like to solve things? Do you like to initiate activities? Do you like to plan things? Hobbies, like employment, help us sharpen skills that are going to be relevant to us when we're adults. Natural curiosity. That's important because when you are naturally curious about something, you take the initiative to research and learn about it. great trait that employers are looking for. Your interests varied, and that's okay if it doesn't align exactly with the type of work you want to do. You may be an engineer as far as your career path, but you might also like knitting, right? And some of you are going, what? How is knitting going to help me? Here's an idea. If you are a knitter, have you knitted anything that you have donated? Have you taught anybody? That's part of engagement. What is it that you like about knitting? What do you do with the things that you've knitted? Engagement. Do you participate in activities in your community, your school, your church, or even just your friends? Do you initiate? Are you a planner? Are you the person that they all look to when it comes to planning things? Those are skills. Those are soft skills. And that's important today when employers are looking for people who are going to know how to engage with the rest of their team. They want to find somebody who's going to be a team player, someone who's going to be a positive addition to their organization. And so when they're looking at a young adult's resume, they're not necessarily looking for relevant knowledge they can give you, or experience they can give you. What they can't give you is that natural curiosity, the initiative, the wanting to be helpful. Those are the things that they're going to look for on your resume. And this is why we're here today. We're going to figure out how to bring that out, organize it, organize them, and then put it on a resume. Your job is to take an inventory of the things you've done, hobbies, engagement, things you're curious about, your interests, organize them in a way that identifies skills, soft skills, technical skills, whatever they may be. What you want to do is help the reader understand how you spent your valuable time. Time is valuable to employers, and they want to make sure that they find the right person who understands that, meaning they're not going to sit around wasting time. They know that they're going to be working on contributing to the employer or the organization. Describe your activities and illustrate why you chose those activities. If you are, for example, a builder, you build drones or battleships, wherever they may be, illustrate why you chose that hobby. What is it about that hobby that excites you? The building, the reading schematics, the thought process that goes behind it, all of that matters. And then you also want to include how you've applied the skills that you've learned from that. So from building, you've learned how to read diagrams, you've learned how to research, all of that. Those are skills that you are fine tuning, that you are at some point going to apply to an actual job. And then if you engage with others, who did you help? Was it volunteer work that you did at some point? Who were the people that you helped? Or if you gave a talk or helped, who was the audience? Who received the information that you had? And how did you make a difference? How did you help improve your environment? These are key things that employers look for. All right. So once you have that, your list of activities, you've organized them, you figure out the skills that you've learned from them, you now have to draft your resume. First thing I always say is please do not use templates that you find online where you just plug and play. Because at some point, when you transmit your documents into some kind of portal that the employer is using, sometimes it can get wonky and doesn't transmit the way you want them to see it. I always suggest start with a Microsoft Word document, a blank format. You've seen resumes before, you've seen the sections, just follow them. The only thing that's going to be different is the content that you put in about yourself. Speaking of content, please don't exaggerate your positions, your titles, your contributions. Show excitement that you are part of something that you built, that you learned about, and that you engage with others. Energize your experiences. Use action words. And if you don't know the action words, you can find a whole list online. They're everywhere. Use action words to show energy, initiative, curiosity, and excitement. Focus on what you've done and not necessarily what you are missing. If you are missing relevant experience and you're applying for an internship, they understand that. You do not need to point it out to them. Illustrate your accomplishments. What did you spend time learning? Did you enter a contest? Did you get certified in something? What are your most important accomplishments? And I'm sure you all have them. Having applied to this university, you had to write your essay, complete your application, and you had to show and illustrate why you would be a good candidate for the program that you applied for. And because you are here and you were chosen, you got the message across. And lastly, and most probably important, realize that the value that you are bringing to employers is important. You have value. You may not know it yet, you may not recognize it yet, but what we've just talked about is what your rising professional self is developing as you enter the workplace. And be prepared to not be chosen for each application you submit. Doesn't mean that you are offering something of no value. It just means that the employer is looking for something different. Keep looking for the match because you will find it. Even the most talented person is not going to be a match for every position he or she applies for. Draft your resume, follow formats that you see online, and look for if you need information on resumes. I do have a resume. I'm going to continue on this resume series and we're going to talk about how to create one. So look for that. And this is all I have today. I wanted to make sure that I am respectful of your time because I know you have very little time between classes. And I wanted to make sure that you walk away with something today. And today is that belief that you have something to offer, even though you don't see it yet, you don't recognize it yet, and what you can put on a resume. I'm here to tell you you do. And I hope we've walked through a little bit through some of your experiences and you do see that. Anyway, thank you for your time. I will see you next time. If you have any questions, you can always reach me at 3amcareercoach@gmail.com. Take care.